Silent Hill 2 is one of my favorite video games of all time. The atmosphere, locations, and enemies are still amazing to see to this day. So when Konami and Bloober Team announced they were working on a remake, I was a little skeptical. How could a studio who hasn't made anything outstanding possibly be given the keys to the most iconic horror game of all time? Thankfully, everything I and all fans were worried about have been proven wrong. Silent Hill 2 is an absolute masterpiece, and the remake is absolutely on the same level. The plot focuses on James Sunderland, a man who is grieving the recent loss of his wife, when he suddenly receives a letter telling him to meet her in Silent Hill. Shocked and strangely hopeful, he decides to travel to the town of Silent Hill, where the letter tells him his dead wife is waiting. Thankfully, the fundamentals of this plot has remained basically unchanged, with a few new surprises placed sparingly without ruining the main flow of the story. In Silent Hill, you will meet characters who are on the same path as you.
Excuse me.
Both lost and in pain. Each character is played fantastically by their respected voice actors, James being the standout for me personally. James's new voice actor plays the character with a new sense of tone, and it works really well. I like the fact they didn't change much of the voice lines, but somehow added new life to the dialogue.
Mary?
If there ever was a game to showcase Unreal 5's power, it's this game. The streets of Silent Hill looked outstanding with a mixture of fog and recently poured on streets. The fog especially is enhanced by the new graphics instead of being held back. What's even more breathtaking are the hallways. James's flashlight only lights up enough of the environment so you never feel 100% safe. The Brookhaven apartments especially looked outstanding. This game is definitely a looker, that's for sure. The audio design is fantastic. This is a game you will need to wear headphones for. Hearing some of the original songs proves that Silent Hill 2's soundtrack really is timeless. But some of the new songs added are just as good also. One of the biggest worries for this game was the change to an over-the-shoulder camera. Many worried that this would turn into a Resident Evil remake clone. While this is not the case in terms of the camera, combat has much to be desired. I would be lying if it did not feel satisfying to smack down some monsters with the nail on a plank. Enemy placement seems to be overdone in this version of the game. So many times I felt that I could not soak in the environment because I was bombarded by enemies. This becomes a problem later on in an iconic area, which I won't spoil, but this was never enough to make me put the controller down. I just wanted to push on forward more and more. Puzzles from the original have mostly returned with some new twists to make returning players scratch their head. I never felt too dumb, but also never too comfortable with beating them all, and I'm glad they encourage exploration to solve these puzzles. Bloober Team really did have an uphill battle with this game. Taking one of the most iconic survival horror games of all time and adding new life was never going to be an easy challenge. But not only did they knock it out of the park, they defied all expectations. If you are a horror fan or just a fan of emotional storytelling, then Silent Hill 2 is a must-play. If you are a returning fan of the original, then I feel you will be more than happy with what Bloober Team have achieved with this remake. Do what you can to go into this game blind, and for the love of God, wear headphones.